My world shifted on a dime. It was a seemingly ordinary day. The kids were at school, Dwyane was at the gym, I was catching up on emails. Then the phone rang. It was Dwyane. His voice was different, subdued. He told me he had to see a doctor. He had some health concerns. My heart skipped a beat. Dwyane is the picture of health. He's a retired NBA star, for goodness sake. He's a force of nature. So hearing him talk about doctors and health concerns sent chills down my spine. He tried to downplay it, he didn't want me to worry, but I knew. I could hear it in his voice. Something was wrong. The days that followed were a blur of doctor's appointments and tests. The waiting was excruciating. The fear was palpable. Then came the diagnosis: kidney cancer. Our world stopped. Everything we thought we knew, everything we planned for, it all felt uncertain. The weight of that diagnosis pressed down on us, threatening to consume us. I remember looking at Dwyane, his face etched with worry, and I knew we were in for the fight of our lives, not just against cancer, but for our marriage, our family, our future. We were about to walk a path neither of us had ever imagined, but we would walk it together hand in hand. We had to. The diagnosis hit our family like a tidal wave. Dwyane's initial instinct was to protect us, to shield us from the pain and the fear. He didn't want to burden us with his own mortality. He especially didn't want to scare the kids. So we decided to tell them he needed an operation to fix something in his tummy. They were too young to grasp the gravity of the situation. But the truth has a way of seeping out, doesn't it? The hushed tones, the worried glances, the constant trips to the hospital. Our children are perceptive. They knew something was wrong. And as much as we tried to maintain a sense of normalcy, the tension in the air was undeniable. Our marriage wasn't immune to the strain either. We were both scared, but we processed our fear differently. I wanted to talk about it, to dissect every emotion, every fear. Dwyane, on the other hand, retreated inward. He carried the weight of the world on his shoulders, unwilling to share his burden. This difference in coping mechanisms led to arguments, to resentment, to a distance that threatened to grow into a chasm. We were navigating uncharted waters, tossed about by a storm we didn't see coming. But in the midst of the chaos, we clung to each other, two souls adrift, desperate for a lifeline. We knew that to survive this, we had to find a way to weather the storm together. They say vulnerability is a sign of weakness. But in the face of Dwyane's diagnosis, I learned that vulnerability is actually our greatest strength. It allowed us to be honest with each other, to share our deepest fears and insecurities. It created a space for empathy and understanding. It wasn't easy for Dwyane to let his guard down. Like many men, he was raised to believe that showing vulnerability was a sign of weakness. He was supposed to be the strong one, the protector. But I needed him to be vulnerable with me. I needed him to let me in, to share his fears, his doubts, his pain. And slowly he did. He allowed himself to break down, to cry, to admit that he was scared. And in that moment of raw vulnerability, our connection deepened. We realized that we didn't need to be strong all the time. We could lean on each other, support each other, and draw strength from our love. This newfound vulnerability extended beyond our marriage. We started talking to our kids about what was happening, age appropriately of course. We explained that Daddy was sick, but that the doctors were working hard to make him better. We answered their questions honestly, even the tough ones. And slowly but surely, the fear that had gripped our family began to dissipate, replaced by a sense of unity and love. Today, Dwyane is cancer-free. He's healthy, he's vibrant, and he's more present than ever. But the journey through his cancer battle has irrevocably changed us. It has taught us the importance of cherishing every moment, of saying I love you like we mean it, of letting go of the small stuff and focusing on what truly matters. It has also taught us the power of vulnerability, the importance of communication, and the unbreakable bond of family. We have learned that it's okay to not be okay, to ask for help, to lean on each other when times get tough. Life is a precious and fragile gift. Dwyane's cancer diagnosis was a stark reminder of that, but it was also a catalyst for growth, for deeper connection, for a love that runs deeper than we ever thought possible. We choose to focus on the light that emerged from the darkness, on the love that carried us through, and on the hope that continues to guide our path.